Hi, I am Julia, and today I thought we're going to do something different but still related to handmade watercolors, which is my main, well, it's my business as a matter of fact. Here on the screen you can see a collection that is called Lost and Found. It has 6 colors and I really love this collection. It's inspired by all things old that has been lost and then found. Yeah, well, you get the drill. Anyway, I wanted to make something more physical as like a sort of representation of how I view this collection. So we're going to start just right off by making some elements that I knew from the start I wanted to do. And you can sort of see here, I wanted to make the paint in the bottles. Now I have done this before, just like normal watercolor in these little very cute glass bottles, but the water will evaporate through the little quirky thingy, and in the end it doesn't take long for them to look kind of not good. So this time I was like, okay, I'm going to make it in resin. Now, to be fair, they don't look exactly like the watercolors, but you know, I thought it was really fun to do. So there is 6 colors in this collection, and I have 3 different types of jars, and I think I got them from Tim Holtz. If it's looking cool and it's sort of like small stuff, it's Tim Holtz. So yeah, and what I did, I just used UV resin and then I did that. Now, the little suitcase I'm going to use as a base is a papier mâché, and I just painted that in some red and brown colors. And I wanted to make a little shelf so we have a little bit more space to work in. I wasn't sure in the beginning if I wanted it to be open or closed, but I decided to keep it open because it was so much easier with all of the stuff. Here's another little trinket from Tim Holtz. I just use a white crayon to add a little bit more definition to it. And I also adding a little bit more definition to the box. Now, like I said, the box, it is sort of a suitcase shape. It's made of papier mâché. You can find it in, I don't know, like hobby stores. And I painted it with acrylic, and I also used some acrylic ink. That is, this one is sepia. I just water it down so you get that sort of old, dirty look, a little bit of splattering. And as a finishing touch on the actual suitcase, I'm just using a stiff brush, dry brushing. You know, I like myself a little dry brush moment here, so I'm going to do that now. I think I really like what I did to the outside of this suitcase. I'm not going to see it, nobody's ever going to see it, because I decide later on I'm going to keep it fixed, upright. You can't close it. There's no way you can see the backside if I don't physically, like, you know, pick it up and show you it. So that case, it's a little bit sad, but I sort of feel like when you do these kind of projects and when you're done, you're like, oh crap, I spent all this time doing that, or you can't even see that or something. But something I think is important when you're doing these kind of things, like for example here, I put this plate on it. You can't see it. But it's an experience. Partly we do it because it's fun, and then I know that to the next time I'm going to do something, to plan a little bit more, or to be more careful what kind of stuff I'm using, or you know, that kind of stuff. So, but it looks so cute. I mean, I could just have left it like it is, but I didn't, because of course not. I'm just adding a little bit of gold foil here because I had to, and I'm just adding a little bit so it's not completely foil. It looks like it's been rubbed away a bit, which is the best type, isn't it? So I have this little basket where I put all the stuff that I wanted to have in the box. I'm not using all of it, obviously, but I had a few things. So I found this old key from my grandfather. It has like a desk typed on it, and that little trinket says Lost and Found. It's the name of the collection. I went out and I got some moss and different I don't know what else you call it in English, so I'm just going to skip that. But yeah, and I'm using this white PVA glue. I'm also going to use hot glue later on, and just put this stuff in there. Now I do sell quite a lot of these sort of vintage tin in the shop as palettes, and I just thought this one was so cool, and having that as an element to sort of build up on. And I really wanted to have something, a little bit of height difference. Now, the spoon. I thought, wouldn't it be so much fun to have this spoon and then having that with water in it? You know, like, because it's watercolor. Yeah? So I'm going, I'm heading back out with the resin and I'm putting that in and curing it, obviously. And then I'm going to pour a bit more. It was a bit tricky to do it while I was filming, to be honest. But then I was sort of slowly dripping it, so you can sort of, it beads up a bit, you can see there. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, it's the small details, we do it to learn and all of that. But yeah, so the tin, back to the tin. I wanted that to be another sort of like almost a little bit of a stage. I felt like everything was so flat on the lid. I wanted something to build up so you get a little bit more of the different tiers, sort of. I also wanted to have a brush, so I just broke one that I had, one of those, you know, really cheap, really old ones. I just broke it so it would fit, and then I glued it on. I also glued that on top of the brush that held the plaque in place. Now, of course you need some paper. I mean, it's a collection of watercolors. So I have this little old, I don't know, grid paper, and I just played around with it. And I think sometimes we don't appreciate that the best things happens when you just play around and dare to try different things. It wasn't my intention in the beginning that it would end up like it did, but seeing how it did end up, I really like it. So yeah, I'm just going to take a teeny tiny paperclip. Again, Tim Holtz, the thimble thing, Tim Holtz, little trinket platey thing, Tim Holtz. I'm pretty sure the little glass bottles are Tim Holtz. I'm just going to say his name like 10 times right now so I don't have to do it later. No, but I'm a big fan of what he does, and yeah, all the things he does, really. So anyway, moving on. I really wanted to keep the actual watercolors as part of my little diorama, my little scene here. So the actual paints that I used, that I did like the first tests when I was painting all the stuff for the collection and all the swatching and everything, I wanted to use that actual set. And I'm really happy I did. Often when I do this, I don't know, not going to say like these specific things, but I tend to pick out, you know, the pretty ones, the ones who are completely filled up and has no bubbles or anything. But here I used the ones that I had been using up. And I just really like the look of it, that they have been used properly. So I was going to say vintage ink. It's a sepia ink. I'm just going to add some water to it, and I'm going to place a few nibs in this little plastic tray. Now, I sell this dip pen nib set in the shop, and I just took one of those packs of nibs and I'm going to put them in there so they get a little bit old and dirty looking, sensing a theme. I think so. And I'm just going to let them dry. And you think, what, Julia, why are you doing that? Well, we're coming to that later, okay? I think that is what's so fun with this whole collection, is that because it is a theme of lost and found, anything and everything goes. Now, I have sort of kept to sort of like that desk, art supply direction here, but really you could do pretty much anything with a theme of lost and found. So, but I just really wanted to sort of try to show my vision of the set that I have made, and I think I really did it. Now, I walk past this little shelf that I have next to my door, and it sits just like eye level, and I just get really happy watching it. I really like it. I don't know if it is the colors or the composition of it, but I just really like seeing it. And usually when I've done a project, I can get pretty sick of it. you know, you see the same thing over and over. But this one, yeah. So here I'm just taking my time, I'm moving things about a little bit, and I'm thinking like how to place everything so that it looks like there's a lot of stuff, but it's not hard to actually see what kind of stuff there is. I mean, there's an art to composing an image, and that is definitely something I do not have. It's something I really try to become better at when it comes to decorating and placing items and curating items. So I'm just trying here, learning, and just trying to trust my gut. Like, if I place something and I'm like, yeah, I like that, then I go with it. And if I place something and I'm like, yeah, that's not working, then we don't go with it. And I mean, that's the only way I can do it, really. So I'm placing the last two colors here, and I sort of grouped them a little bit so they are sitting in pairs, just so they are scattered, but they sort of keep in a group, if that makes sense. And we're going to start with the bottles, and here you can see like Hilda, it looks more like mustard. I was going to say something else related to babies, you know what I mean. But yeah, that's the thing when you're using resin and all of that. But I still really like that I have them. And I'm like, can I do that with all of my colors? I don't know. But yeah, and I'm really happy that I decided to add a shelf, because I feel like that gives me a lot more space to actually play with them, because the elements are so small. I don't really have any bigger elements except for the tin and for the spoon. So, and I'm just using hot glue. It works really good, and it makes sure that everything is in place. And because it's a fairly dark area, I can hide the glue so you can't really see it, which is always a good thing. And I also try to make sure that I overlap things, so it's not like all neat and tidy, but they have a little bit of overlapping and a little bit of connection to each other. Sometimes when they are all neat and tidy, especially if it's not like a neat and tidy project, it can look a little bit odd. So I'm really trying to make sure that they are, if not physically connecting, then visually connecting and sort of interrupt your line of sight. So that's why I have some that are standing up, some are laying it down, and that they are not just on one side of each other, or on one side of the suitcase. Here you can see my little my little pen nibs. I really like how they look, and because I use acrylic ink that will dry, it will be fine. So I'm going to place them about here too. They are there to, I mean, partly to visualize part of the collection, but I also think it sort of enhances the artistic writing thingy, insert good word here, you know. So I'm just going to add those to laying about there. And like I said, I have some moss and nature stuff that I do not know the English word for, that I just picked up from the garden, and I'm just going to add that in. So it looks sort of like it's been here for a while, stuff has started to grow, and I just really like that sort of organic texture mixed in with it. Now, the spoon. Yeah, the spoon. I had this real vision of the spoon. I really wanted to have the spoon there, but it turned out it was harder to incorporate it. It was harder than I thought it would be. Now I am glad it's standing there, and I feel like it's good because it's sort of it's the only vertical thing that we have here, so I feel like we needed that. But it was a little bit tricky to get that going. Now, some more pen nibs. I'm just going to add some hot glue and glue that into one of these little thimbles. That was a car. And I also have, like, a thimble is part of the icon sticker sheets. I really wanted to have that, and I just really like the shape of it, having that little pot shape. Can you call it that? you know, when it sort of tapers down. And this, I'm really happy with this key and the plate. It says, you know, desk in Swedish, and it sort of became almost like a title of the little piece. Now, the last thing I think that I'm going to add in here is one of the vintage photos that are in the collection. I just felt like I really wanted to have that in there. So I just put a little clip on it and put that at the back. And that sort of makes it like almost like a desk space, even though it is in a suitcase. And I really like it's sort of like, is it a window? Is it a photo? I don't know, but it's there, and it has some more interest without actually just demanding attention. So yeah, anyway, I've been jabbering on. What I want to say is that I'm really happy with this project. I really enjoyed making it. I think it's really fun, and it really encapsulates, my English is going away, I can hear that, my feeling, my vision, for this collection. I had so much fun making the collection, and I had a lot of fun making this piece, and I think it's really fun too, for me anyway, that I can continue on with something and get more playtime out of it. I don't know how to say it anymore. My words are out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, then please stick around, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, or more studio vlogs where I actually make the paint. And until then, I hope you have a great day and take care.